Hello everybody, Bill Harrison here with Hardened Power Systems. Wanted to take a few minutes and introduce you to the Mark I JuiceBox R2. And not to complicate names or anything, but the Mark I JuiceBox was the original machine. It's the one that there are hundreds of machines out there. Kind of the Chevy truck of alt energy portable equipment, and after building that many machines and learning a lot and some R&D effort, we've significantly improved that machine enough so that that the new R2 is going to replace the original JuiceBox Mark I. It will still definitely be our least expensive complete system. I think after you see the machine and understand what it contains, you'll understand why we did what we did. There's a series of improvements that may be taken by themselves or small improvements, but altogether it's a pretty big deal. It's a big enough deal to go ahead and retire the original and replace it with the JuiceBox Mark I R2. So, if you're familiar with the original JuiceBox, the first thing you'll notice here is it got a lot smaller. The original machine was in a night vision optics can. It's the same can that we still use for the Mark II JuiceBox. It is significantly taller than this. One of the neat things about the R2 is that we've actually put more, not less, into less space. It's mostly just from building so many of them and figuring out small opportunities to be better stewards of the space we have to work with, and some other small things that helped. But in any event, the first thing you'll notice, the machine's quite a bit smaller. It's about the same weight, which is heavy. It's about 28 pounds. But the machine's in a Fat 50 ammo can. Now that's actually a very common can, and there's no reason, for example, if you had a Fat 50 of your own that wasn't painted or something like that, you could slide the JuiceBox out, put it in any other standard Fat 50 ammo can. And we do offer different colors. We do it quite a bit, especially for emergency services, military and stuff. Some folks want like safety orange or bright yellow. We've done school colors, but in any event, the standard color is battleship gray and white stencil. If we pop the lid, and if you're familiar with the JuiceBox, and I guess if you're not, you should realize this hard cam action is deliberate. Just like the original JuiceBox and our Mark IIs, there's some mil-spec foam top and bottom. That foam pinches the chassis when you cam that lock over, and definitely helps kill vibration and impact. It cradles the whole system inside there. So if you get a machine and it seems hard to cam that over, that's on purpose. You want that. So in any event, we can open this up, and just like any ammo can, the lid will slide off. And you can use this as a stand or a rest or something. We've got some ham radio people that will power their ham radio from the JuiceBox and then use the lid as a field expedient ground plane antenna. They'll just stick their magnetic antenna on it. In any event, the new JuiceBox, and I need to get used to saying Mark I R2. We've just been calling it the R2. Looks like this. First thing you're going to notice, and we're excited about it, and it works well, just because you get more than one benefit, is the engraved faceplate. It saves us some literature and some manual efforts, and frankly, it just puts the specs and critical information permanently engraved on the face of the machine. Plus, it looks sweet. We think it looks nice. One of the other things that is an improvement on this versus the original JuiceBox is the size of the cubby. It seems surprising, but it's the truth that not only do we have more content in a smaller space, but the storage cubby is actually larger. It's neat how it all worked out. One of the main reasons why you care that the cubby's larger. The original JuiceBox, because of the size format that the solar panel used, we were pretty well boxed in. The PowerFilm 10-watt folding panel was the only nice solar panel that fit. And that's primarily due to the tall, narrow nature of the night vision can and the way it worked out space-wise. One of the things we're able to do here, and I'll show you one here in a minute, one of the things we're able to do here is, thanks to the larger cubby, we've been able to make available or just steer you towards good sources of a 28-watt folding solar panel. It's fairly common. It is not a PowerFilm. It's not quite as cool. It's not mil spec. It's not as small. It's not as light. But it is 28 watts, not 10. And that comparison is linear. It is 2.8 times as much power. The cells are not flexible. They're rigid. But it's a canvas folding solar panel. It works really well. And more importantly, this 28-watt panel costs significantly less than a 10-watt PowerFilm. Depends on your wallet and your needs. If you're doing the Appalachian Trail or something like that, you're going to be glad you've got PowerFilm panels and you'll pay the premium for it. But if you're using something like a JuiceBox, which is already 28 pounds, plus or minus, the additional pound or two in exchange for saving that kind of money probably makes sense to most people. So in any event, I guess could you come up a little closer? We'll get tight on the faceplate, and we'll talk a little bit about what's available here, and contrast it to the existing. If we talk strictly about features and how they compare to the old JuiceBox, like the old JuiceBox, and I guess I should say R1, like the R1, we've got 2 Anderson power poles. This is the same. The original R1 JuiceBox had a single USB. This has 2. Probably the nicest thing about this USB setup is the R1 used the inverter that was integrated into the it used the power converter that was integrated into the inverter. What I mean is you had to turn on the inverter in order to get USB power. There's nothing really wrong with that. It works just fine. But any inverter, when it's powered on, has a phantom load. It's not really very much, but it adds up, especially if you're carrying the power around by the handle. So one of the improvements is that the new R2 has a dedicated transformer that is completely separate from the inverter. You don't need to power up the inverter. And also, instead of pushing 2 amps, the R2 pushes 3 amps in its USB. Like virtually all of our portable gear, resettable circuit breaker instead of fuses, much nicer in the field. Our marine sockets, 12 volts. Obviously, whatever you might plug into your car can be plugged in here. Another improvement that really was nice is in the inverter. Instead of the 400-watt inverter that's in the R1, the R2 carries a 450-watt inverter with a 900-watt surge. And this particular inverter is made by Samlex, which we prefer. We're learning to like the Samlex gear very much. Real solid on a meter. Pretty clean power, even though it's modified sine, not pure. We also now have a lit switch on the inverter. Might seem like a small thing, but we've had a handful of customers that have left the inverter on and didn't realize it and closed their machine up, and over a period of days or weeks, just the phantom load of the inverter killed the battery. And I don't mean it killed it dead, I mean it ran it out, so it had to be recharged. In any event, now we've got an illuminated switch, so makes it more obvious to somebody not to forget to turn that thing off. The DC main switch, much like most of our gear, this energizes the 12-volt power ports, the USB, the Andersons, and the voltmeter. Like most of our gear, the inverter can be operated independently. You could definitely be in a situation where you want to run AC only, and there's no reason to have the DC side of the machine operating. Another thing we're able to do that we like is to slowly move towards standardizing the solar input. This is the most common DC style jack that we can source. It's a 5.5 millimeter by 2.1 millimeter DC coax plug. So the solar panel plugs right in here. Also, the AC cord is hardwired in. We like doing this whenever we can. Cords are notorious for getting lost, right? So it's nice to have something that's wired in. You don't have to worry about it. You know it's in there. And I guess if you pull back out, then we'll talk about the solar panel. Now, I mentioned briefly the different solar panels, and please understand, we like power film. Power films are awesome panels. Our military buyers, so far without exception, when they specify a solar panel, they want power film. Obviously, at that point, it's more important to have the mil spec rating and to have the extremely lightweight and small size. But for me, my family, most of my friends, the couple $100 extra just to save a few ounces or a pound or whatever, you got to look hard at that. These panels are becoming increasingly common. Frankly, the best of my knowledge, pretty much everything you find is coming out of China. Sometimes the cells are made in the US and it's sewn in China. But in any event, a solar panel like this, 28 watts, which is a fair amount of power. 28 watts is just shy of 2 amps. So for example, if you consider the 24 amp hour battery system in the JuiceBox, one full day of sunshine and you're probably going to have this top back up. I say that knowing that the math says that you should be more like 14 hours or something to charge it. But depending on what you're doing, it's actually typically kind of hard to run a 12 volt battery fully dead, just because your devices hit a cutoff voltage and stop. But the neat thing about this panel, combined with the new JuiceBox, is, and it is a tight fit, but it fits pretty nice. This is the patch cord for the solar panel. You can see that now we fill that case nicely, and that's a lot of power. One of the things that always bugged me a little bit about the original JuiceBox is the 10 watts that we could package inside it is marginal. You know, it's 0.6 amps. Definitely useful, but we put a 4.5 amp Morningstar solar controller in this, just like the original R1. So I mean, you can put up to 70 watts of solar into this machine, and depending on what you're doing, especially if it's field day or if you're camping with a CPAP machine, or whatever you're doing, that can make a big difference to you. Because the truth of it is, of course, you get days that aren't sunny, you get days that are partially sunny. You definitely have circumstances where you're really glad that you really don't need that theoretically perfect day to try to charge your system, and a panel like this will help you. So yeah, I guess as far as the solar controller, I should tell you, like the R1, we're not buying $5 Chinese solar controllers to put into this. You might never know, but the truth is, if you crack this thing open and look inside, you'll see a Morningstar SG4. It's about about 40, 45 bucks for these controllers, but they're gorgeous. They work really nice. They're rock solid. This is the type of controller that that a farmer might nail to a fence post to run like an electric fence. Definitely weatherproof, waterproof, shockproof. They're fully potted. They're nice. The battery system in this, identical to the R1. It is the same 12 amp hour AGM batteries. So 2 of those batteries, meaning that the entire bank is 24 amp hours. The industry size is an RBC4. It's a very common size format. You're not exactly going to necessarily find them at Walmart, but Batteries Plus, you can walk in and buy them. Some car auto parts stores, definitely Amazon or eBay. You can replace these batteries for about $30 a piece, and you can make that swap without tools in the field. It's not difficult to do. I think that's about it. One thing I should say is in the past when we've done launches like this or introductions, we'll have a brief period of time, either a period of time or a total number of units, where we pretty heavily discount the new device. There's a variety of reasons for doing that. One, it generates some excitement and some buzz, and it's, you know, if you shop, you'll find our gear is already very aggressively priced, and the only reason we can do that, you know, we design this stuff, we build it right here, and we sell it through our website. So that allows us to still make a little bit of money and have very aggressive pricing. And I encourage you to do your own research to find out whether or not you agree with that. But in any event, during a launch period like this, we'll discount things a little more aggressively. That helps us fill our supply line, get a bunch of components in-house, kind of spool up, get everybody used to building the new type of gear. One of the nice things here, because we've actually been building the R2 for about a month or so. So we've had a bunch of customers that thought they were buying an R1, and then we're pretty happy to find that what they received at the same price was an R2. What that means to you is that we're not in a position of having to say, hey, you know, buy it today and we'll get it to you in a month, which has happened sometimes with some of our launches where we need time to get all the materials in for large numbers of orders and build them up and ship them out. In this scenario, that time frame is not nearly as long. We should be able to hold our normal timing of about 10 days from order to shipment on the R2s. But I will say that you should check our website, especially if you're seeing this video anytime early to mid-April 2014. Because if you go check the website, what you're going to find for a brief period of time, and I'm not sure if it's going to be actually time or total number of units, we have to look at what we have in-house and what our build schedules look like, but for a short period, we're going to be selling this machine at the original price of the R1. We're not selling it at a loss. We're still making some money, but we're not going to be able to do that for long or for very many units. This machine will be $540 once our launch ends. The current R1 is $480. So you can see, you know, obviously there's a significant savings there. So in any event, thank you very much for taking the time to check out our new JuiceBox Mark I R2. Feel free to check out our other videos on our Hardened Power YouTube channel. See us on Facebook and Twitter. It's all Hardened Power. Our website is portableuniversalpower.com. And contact information is there. You can email us, you can call us. As far as this solar panel, I should mention too, we're learning that we don't really want to be in the solar panel business necessarily. There's a lot of good, healthy competition. That said, we do have some of these in stock. We use a lot of them, even if it's just for R&D and testing. And we sometimes are able to get good deals on them. If you are interested in an R2, and if you're also interested in a solar panel, just mention that when you buy, or shoot us an email or call to ask us, and we'll either be able to include a panel just like this with your R2 at a fair price, or we'll be able to point you towards suppliers that have fair prices for a panel that we can tell you for sure not only fits in the cubby, but has the patch cord that connects directly to the standard socket and in turn to the solar panel. So anyway, again, this is Bill Harrison. I really appreciate your time. Folks, thank you so much for your business. This has been a completely insane year. It is a blessing, but it has been crazy, and that's because of you guys. So thank you very much. All of our families, thank you, and we look forward to talking to you later. Thanks again. We'll see you later. Bye.